No,
Correct. Why not?
because it doesn't have uh,
Mhm.
like collections of instructions, like let's say Google Chrome
Mhm.
or any other like calendar, any kind of search engine. There's no search engine, so that we cannot communicate to the laptop directly without any kind of software
Yes. So software.
programming.
Correct. Let me just refine your definition a bit. So software generally what it does is it provides you a medium to communicate with the hardware itself. And the hardware does not understand our normal language. Like I'm talking to you guys in English, correct? And you are able to understand me. But that's not the case with the hardware. They don't understand English language. They only understand 0 and 1. By 0 and 1, I mean on and off. That's binary.
Bit and byte, bit byte, yes.
So that's what a hardware understands. And we can't communicate with that. Na? Just we'll switch on and switch off, and the hardware would be able to understand. No, that's not that simple. Okay. So we need to convey our instructions to machine or the hardware part in a language that is understandable to them. And that's the machine language. The interface that converts our high level language, that is our English language, to the language of machine. That's what a software does. And by definition, it's simply what is written here. Software is a set of instructions or data or program used to operate computer and execute a specific task. And by specific task, I think you guys might have an idea what it means. Kinsley, your thought on that?
You say what?
What exactly does it mean to execute a specific task? The definition
Um,
here.
let's say you want to visit website.
Mhm.
So if the application is being stored in your system, so when you go to the interface, then you type in some word, maybe any word, like maybe Amazon.com.
Mhm.
So the system, the software recognizes those words, and through the binary translation, when you key into those words, then it's going to understand that language, then respond to that task, then connect to a server if your system is connected to an internet.
But it does not depend only on the, I mean, internet connection also. Like I guess you guys might have,
Yeah. You might not
Can I
use
answer?
internet, just like texting somebody,
yes.
like it's communication that the system has to translate.
Mhm. So, and one more thing, software is not only present in, I mean, computers and mobile phone, they are present in other devices as well. I suppose you guys might have a microwave in
Yeah.
your, so in that microwave of yours, you guys don't manually, I mean, you just don't tell them na, that please preheat my food for 10 minutes or 30 seconds or whatever. You
Mm-hmm.
need to type that command, correct? That you need to put that settings that heat this food for 10 minutes or 30 seconds, whatever, depending upon your food items or whatever item you have placed, correct?
Okay.
So that key that you press on the microwave, that translates that high level language of ours, that we need to heat that food for 10 minutes. It's going to translate that high level language to the machine understandable language. So we do have softwares in other applications as well. I mean, other hardware as well, like you can say microwave, your smart TV. I think some of you might have smart TVs in your home. or a normal TV as well that has a menu. Even that,
Yes, I do have a smart TV.
mhm. So that TV itself, the menu that you get on the TV, that you click a button and the volume increases. You click a button, the channel changes. So the everything happens through that software part only. Okay.
Yes, okay.
Now, coming to the type of softwares, there are generally three types of software: system software, programming software, and application software. So, what exactly you guys understand when I say the term system software? Any ideas?
System software is like the operating systems that we run on devices, like Windows, Android, iOS, like that.
Okay, correct. That's exactly what the system software is. And the system software, it is the main part that connects you to the hardware itself. The system software generally interacts with the hardware. Like most of you have that Windows laptop with you. So that Windows operating system that is installed on your laptop, that directly interacts with the hardware and the human itself. I mean by that high level language. That's what a system software is. Now, any doubts regarding system software?
No.
Okay.
No.
As you guys are a bit well versed, so once you do say okay, I'll be proceeding to the next topic. And if you do feel that you need a bit more details, you can stop me then and there and tell me that you are not able to understand that concept. Now, coming to the second part, programming software. It's something that we use to code. Okay, and the programming software, they generally do not interact with the hardware directly. They interact with the system software first. You
Okay,
provide,
so applications installed on devices.
no, not exactly the application. By programming software, we mean the application that we use to code, that we are using to code. By that, I mean like
Okay.
in automation, we use Eclipse for the automation part. The programming language is Java and the software is Selenium. Okay. The entire console of Eclipse, that's the programming software where we can write our instructions in the programming language. And by program, there are multiple programming languages like Java, JavaScript, Python, C, C++. So pro
Okay.
programming software, they generally interact with the system software itself. And in programming software, people generally code. I mean, the instructions that they want the machine to provide, or the task that they want the machine to do. That's what the programming software is. If I try to give you an example, first would be Eclipse, the compiler that we would be using for the automation. Second, you can say VS Code, and compiler example, you can say JVM, Java Virtual Memory. That would be an example of compiler. So, are we clear on the programming software part?
Yes.
Okay. The next part, that's application software. That is the most used software. So, first of all, any guesses what an application software is?
Softwares on top of system software.
Sorry?
Softwares or applications on top of that is installed on top of system software.
Then what is the difference between the programming software and the application software?
I don't know.
Kingsley?
Yeah, sorry, like I'm cooking at the same time, so I'm just dividing my attention.
Okay.
Application software could be let's say like Jenkins. It's an application software that you have to install in your system, in your physical computer to to carry on some tasks, if I'm right.
And what is a programming software? Define a programming software, please.
A programming software is a program, it's a software that has its own particular program, just like Java, Python, C++, C Sharp. Those are like programming language software, if I'm right.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay. And Deepen, what about you?
What was the question again? My power dropped out like for a couple minutes and I'm just dropped out from the class.
Okay. No problem. I was asking what is the difference between the programming software and the application software here?
Programming software is it's a it's a code. We do programming through codings and all, and system software is when we communicate through the coding and it displays on the system.
Okay. And application?
Applications are combinations of codings and the programming software, where when the user interface can which can displays in the user interface is per my understanding.
Yes, somewhat right. Okay. So listen to me very carefully. I would explain all these three terms right now. Try and
Okay,
try to understand it, please. And if
okay,
you do have any doubts, I'm talking to all the three persons here, Atul, Kingsley, and Chetri.
okay.
So if you do have any doubts, please feel free to ask. I'll be explaining all these three terms again. First, the system software. System software is the main software that interacts with the hardware directly. Okay? It interacts with
Okay,
hardware directly. An example of system software would be Windows, Mac, the software that is present in your microwave. That is the example of a system software that interacts with the hardware directly. There is no medium or there is no intermediary in between them. Okay? That's
okay,
what system software is. Second, programming software. Programming software interacts with the system software, not with the hardware directly. We do code on a programming software, but they are not allowed to interact with the hardware directly. They interact with the system software. And the system software in turns interact with the hardware and get the appropriate response. Example of programming software would be Eclipse, the compiler that we'll be using for the automation part. Second, VS Code. Third, JVM, Java Virtual Machine. That's the programming softwares. These are the list of programming softwares. They interact with the system software and we do, create our instructions that we want the system to perform, but they do not interact with the hardware directly. Am I clear?
yes.
Applic
Yes.
okay. One more yes is left. Kingsley.
yes, I'm all right. I just don't want noise like coming from what I'm doing into the class. So I can hear you.
Okay.
Uh,
Now the third part, application software. What application software basically means is it's a kind of a utility software. It provides a certain actions. I mean, it does have a certain purpose to it that we use it for. Example would be Chrome. We use that application in our Chrome application in our devices to browse the internet, or the Safari in our iPhones to browse the internet. Correct?
Yes.
So that's the example of application software. In desktop, as you guys have Windows, so you might have any media player installed on your laptop like VLC or the default Windows media player or any other media player, if I'm not wrong. Correct?
Yes.
So that would be a desktop application, as we have directly installed it in our desktop or our laptops or personal computers. So that's the desktop application. Mobile application, I mean Chrome. If we download that Chrome browser in our mobile device, I mean in our iPhone or Android devices, in Android it's pre-installed. But for the same software, Chrome, if it's installed in the mobile, it's called mobile application. But if it's installed in the laptop, it's called the desktop application. Are you able to understand that? The same
Yes.
application, but the terminologies are different depending upon the usage and where it is installed. And the application that we use to access the web, they are generally known as web applications. Okay?
Okay.
So I hope
Okay.
these three
all right.
terminologies are clear.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right.
Again, I would like to emphasize that please pay attention in the class. These small details would be very crucial for you during your interview. I would not be there to tell you that no, it's not the right definition or it's not the right concepts. Because if your basics are not clear, you would have problem clearing the interviews. So you need to give your 100% effort. I need your full attention for 1.5 hours, for 5 days a week, and 3 to 4 hours of self-study. Please, I'm requesting you guys. If you are not serious, then you can drop from this batch. I don't want any because I do put my and full effort in teaching, and I need my students to put full effort in learning, because at the end of the course I don't want anyone to say that no, I'm not able to crack any interviews, because that would be a question on my teaching, that how am I teaching that my students are not able to get the job offers. So please pay attention. Okay.
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 Now coming to the next part, what is software testing? So what exactly you guys have do you must have any idea about what software testing is? So one by one we'll be starting. First, Chetri, you start. What exactly do you mean by, I mean, what exactly comes to your mind when you hear the term software testing?
Software testing is an activity in software development to ensure that the software meets the agreement requirements and design. The application works expected. Application does not contain serious bugs, meet intent per user expectations.
Okay, so okay, it does not contains any bug.
Any serious bugs
Hmm.
where we can found like through the software testing we can fix if there's a bugs found, and we how it will be fixed.
Okay, so that's quite correct. As you correctly mentioned, that software testing is the part of software development process itself. Okay, and what software testing is to detect and identify any defect in the software. What do we mean by detect? I mean defects.
Uh, Maybe it could be that the code has not meet up the standard process.
Yes, any deviation from the normal behavior or the intended behavior is known as defect.
Defect. Okay.
Any deviation. If I give you a generic example, it would be that you do have switches in your homes, I guess, electrical switch, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
The intended purpose of that switch is if I press that switch, it's either going to be in two states, either on or off, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So if by default that switch is in off state and if I press that switch, then it should turn to the on state. That's what the general behavior is, and vice versa. If that switch is in on state and if I press that switch, it's gonna turn to the off state. Correct? Now,
Yes.
what happens if I press a switch? It's already in the on state, but if I press that switch, again it still remains in the on state only. So that means it has deviated from its normal behavior. So that's a defect in terms of that switch. So defect not only I mean they not only just comes in the software, they do comes in the real life also. Any deviation from the normal behavior is known as defect. It can be in the general day-to-day items or in software as well. Like if I want a software, like if I need a website where if I enter a email address in a box in that email, and as soon as I enter the email address and I press the submit button, I should get an email from that website saying, hi, you have registered in our website. But what if I enter the email and click on the submit button and I don't get a confirmation email? So that's the defect. The intended purpose is not getting fulfilled. Okay, and that's what our task is, to find out defects, whether a software is developed and it's doing its intended job. Okay,
Okay.
Okay.
and the testing, it's not only part of software, it's part of other fields as well, like in automotive sectors they do have their dedicated engineers that test the entire vehicle, or in the or food processing plant they do have their quality, I mean QC engineers there as well. They test the quality of food. So we do testing in all the industries. Now, the main objective of testing is to maintain a certain standard of product, that our software should be in a working state and majority of the functions should always be doing what is their intended purpose. Okay.
Okay.
Hmm. Any questions regarding what is software testing or the objective of the software testing?
No, not from my side.
Okay. The next part, software quality. So any idea what exactly we mean by the term software quality?
Um, I guess that
No.
would be a report after a proper testing that was conducted.
Okay.
If maybe bugs or anything were found, so I think that could be considered as quality testing. I stand to be correct.
Somewhat correct, not exactly. You can even read the definition and try to analyze that in your head and give me an answer if you want. You can go ahead and read the definition, Kingsley.
You say what?
Go ahead and read the definition that is written here. What is quality?
Okay, box free, deliver on time. Okay, within the budget, meet requirements and expectations, and maintainable.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay. So, Chetri, what about you? Your thoughts on quality?
You mean me?
Yes, Deepen.
Yeah, it, it should be meet its intent uses per expectations, which is like, for example, like bugs free and worked as per the requirement and the expectations.
Deepen, a question for you. Can a software be bug free?
No,
Then, how can you say that a quality software should be bug free? Hmm?
Software cannot be bug free at all, but we can minimize the defects or and increase the quality of the software.
Yes. So, quality basically is defined as the requirement of customers that we do develop and it's properly functioning. Okay. Like whenever we do develop a software, we don't consume it ourselves, correct? We develop it for somebody to consume. Like Mark,
yes,
if I give you an example, Mark Zuckerberg did not develop Facebook to use it for himself, correct? He developed
yes,
Facebook to for everybody to use, and that's how he became a billionaire. That's a different story, but generally when we develop the software, we develop it for some customers. And when we develop anything for the customers, we do keep in mind how exactly, what exactly is the intended purpose for that software is. And when the intended purpose is, formally agreed upon by the customer and the organization that is developing the software, we do set certain benchmarks that yes, this software should contain these amount of functionalities and and it should have these features. So we need to make sure that the software has all the features that was agreed upon by the customer and the organization that is developing it. And all these features should work perfectly fine. Okay. No problem in there can be few issues. but that too to a certain extent, like 20% or 10%. That's what the general industry standard is regarding the bugs ratio. But 80% of the functionality should be working without any kind of problem. Okay, and in order to maintain that 80% correctness in a software, we need the software quality. So all these points that are mentioned here, they need to be at a reasonable level. That's what is mentioned here. Quality of software is reasonably bug free. It's not bug free, reasonably bug free. By that we mean it should not contain more than 20% of bug or 10%. And in certain medical sectors or aviation sector, it's less than 1% bugs. Okay.
Okay.
Now the second point, sorry, the second point, delivery on time. Whenever we do develop a software, there is a strict timeline to it that is agreed mutually by the customer and the organization. Now we need to deliver that software on that time period itself. There are few delays that is acceptable, but like if there is a software that needs to be developed in 6 months, you can take 7 months for that if there is certain unforeseen circumstances, but not like the contract was given for 6 months and you deliver it after 2 years. That's not acceptable. Okay. Whenever you do develop software, it involves cost. How exactly does developing a software involves cost? Can you help me with that, Chetri?
Which one?
Mm-hmm.
Which one exactly? What question?
And my question was,
I'd say the cost involved is hiring the developers, maintaining it, deploying it, making it the cost around the productions, how it is being developed, so all those kind of things.
yes, whenever we do develop a software, there is cost involved. And by cost, we mean the salaries that are paid to the developers, QAs, and the infrastructure needed for the development process, like the office space that the company might have rented, or the work from home equipment that the company might have sent to the developers and QAs. So the cost involved in procuring all those resources, that is what generally a budget is. And before developing a software, generally the client and the organization do agree upon a certain budget that yes, I need this software in this time frame, and what would be the resources that you guys need and what would be the budget for that. Okay.
Okay.
Next point,
Okay.
meets requirement or expectation. As I mentioned earlier, the client and the organization, they do mutually agree upon certain behaviors and expectations. Like I want a software to, as I mentioned earlier, create a website, and if I do enter any email address, they just send me a confirmation mail. That can be one requirement. And it should be feasible enough for a company to develop. Suppose suppose at times there are requirements that are not even feasible. Like if I want a teleportation software that I just come, I just go to any organization and ask them to develop a teleportation software for me. So that's not possible because we don't have any teleportation device till yet, correct?
Yes.
Hmm.
So,
Now, once the software is developed, it should be maintainable. What we mean by that is we don't develop software for few days or few weeks usage. If we are developing the software, we use it for a longer duration, like 2 years, 4 years, or even 10 years or more than that. So the software needs to be in a maintainable state, that as soon as the other softwares are upgraded, the securities are enhanced, so is our application. It should also upgrade with time. And for that, we need the code to be maintainable, written in something using the latest languages, so that even if the existing developers or the existing team quits, the organization can hire new people and let them maintain the software that was developed by someone else. Generally in IT, that's what happens. When a company does hire you, they'll put you on a project and you'll be working in that project. Once the project is over, you might be shifted to a different project and the maintenance team might come into picture, and they would work on that and maintain the software. Same goes for QA also. I hope I'm clear on these points.
Yes.
Yes, you are.
Yes.
Okay. Now we'll be moving towards the next slide. That is product versus project. Any idea what
Sure.
exactly?
Can we do it tomorrow? I mean, the time was 10:30. I have my shift starting in next 5 minutes.
Oh, okay. Sure. We can do that tomorrow as well. So,
If others has no problem, then otherwise I can drop and Kingsley and Dipen can continue.
yes, Dipen and Kingsley, what are your thoughts? Would you like to continue or?
Me personally, why
Hmm.
I've not been talking because I told you I was cooking for my family. So I'm just dividing time. So my mind is not really in because I didn't even knew that today was the first class. I thought it was just gonna be like intro, then we were gonna start the main class. So my head is just dividing time because I'm trying to make food for the family then because my wife is not here. So it's just me and the kid. So but tomorrow could work better for me. So that way we can fully start with the class tomorrow. I thought today was just for introduction.
Okay, sure. Okay, then we'll be continuing our lecture from tomorrow only.
Yeah, because I didn't know that I was gonna get my first class because first class are very, very important because those are the basic foundation. So I don't like my mind is here, but at the same time, my mind is with the kid. So I'm just dividing attention. So tomorrow might work for me if other people is okay by that.
No worries. And what about you, Chetri?
Okay.
That's
I'm
all I
good.
can take. We can resume
I
from tomorrow,
Sorry.
I agreed on,
I believe.
like, the vote goes to 2, so I
Okay.
agreed on that.
Okay, Dipen. Thanks for that. Now, don't worry.
All right. So team will be resuming tomorrow, 9 p.m. start. The links would be shared 15 minutes prior to the start of the class onto your registered email. Is that okay?
Yes, that will be fine. Okay.
Everyone audible?
Yeah,
Yeah.
tomorrow is okay.
Yes. Do you hear me? Hello?
Yes, you're audible.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll be ready for tomorrow at 9.
Awesome. Thank you, Dipen. Thank you for joining.
Okay.
See you in the class tomorrow.
Already. Thank you.